What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Big Play Ray. Want to talk to you today about your style of working out to make sure that we're actually working towards getting the most size out of your workout. I'm basically answering the question that received the most votes on my last video.
Hey Ray, quick question. How do you perform your sets when looking to put on the most size? Straight sets, pyramids up, pyramids down, wave loading? Also, at which point should failure occur? Every single set or the last set of the exercise or workout? Rep tempo and range.
I just want to remind you guys not to overcomplicate your routine. Even Matt Ogans mentioned this in one of his recent videos. It was like a 4-part video. But you're going to see great results in the 8 to 12 rep range. And I feel the same way. You're going to see great results keeping it in the 8 to 12. The way that you define 8 to 12 reps, though, is that once you get to the 8 to 12 range, you can't get to 13. You can't get to 14 if you wanted to. That's the type of weight that you're using. That once you get to 8 or 12, you can't get any more. You can't get 15 reps. So that's how you stay in the 8 to 12 rep range. At the same time, heavy sets with low reps do recruit more muscle fibers and stimulate the central nervous system more effectively than using reps 8 to 12. So that's why I like to switch up my workouts and get the best of both worlds. I do a little strength training as well as bodybuilding. Some of the best bodybuilders around began with powerlifting. I have nothing against the wave loading and pyramids up and down and things like that. Nothing against them. They're effective. I've used them. I still use them from time to time. But if you're just starting off or even closer to the intermediate level, just stick with the straight sets. Stay consistent with that. Once you become stagnant, then explore these other types of routines. Now, as far as the failure is concerned, you definitely don't want to go in there with the aim of failing on the first and second set before you're 10 minutes into your workout and you've already failed on every set. That's not the way you want to go. You're not going to last very long, not only for that session, but your entire fitness career or in the gym. You're not going to last very long if you're actually failing on every single set. This is the way that I perform my actual exercise. When I go in the gym, my first and second set is usually at a weight that's about 60 to 70% of my max. This is well after I warmed up and did some warm-up sets and things like that with no weight. But when I actually get to my first set to actually count, I'm actually using about 60 to 70% of the weight. Now, towards the third and fourth set, where I usually show you all, like, hey, I have a new PR, new personal record or something like that. That's usually my third or fourth set. That's when I step my weight up to my 85 to 95% max, give or take. I mean, these percentages are kind of off, but that's where I'm usually doing it. Okay, so the first set, I'm doing 8 to 12. More so 12 reps on my first and second set. I'm usually going for about 12. And then, because every day is different. Some days you're a little stronger than the other. Your head's in the game a little better sometimes, or your diet was a little better, or your nutrition was a little better, so you're able to perform better. So every day is a little different. I don't necessarily use the same weight every time. They're around the same, but not actually precisely the same. So I use the first and second set as a gauge to figure out what my actual max is going to be for that day. And so come third set, fourth set, I'm actually using the best weight for that day. And I'm using a weight that I probably can't get over 10. When I'm actually performing a set, I'm actually able to use the first set to figure out what weight I can use to make sure that once I get to 10, I can't get to 12. There's one thing to stay in the 8 to 12 rep range, and put the weight down and still be able to go to 20. That's not the weight that you want to actually use. You actually want to use your 10 rep max. So still a little bit more about the size aspect. Your fast twitch muscles, your body's made of slow twitch and fast twitch. Your fast twitch muscles have more size than your actual slow twitch. So when I'm working out in my routine, even if I'm training somebody that wants to actually train for size, I aim at stimulating their fast twitch muscles because that's going to give them the results that they see the quickest. So the way to stimulate your fast twitch muscles most effectively is to perform explosive movements in your workout. And this principle is misconstrued by several. I mean, every gym has that guy that just gets on the bench press and just, throws the weight up and down, with no no finesse, you know, uncontrolled movements, and that's not really explosive. That's not the best way to perform an explosive movement. To perform an explosive movement, you're almost performing a negative, so to speak, on your routine. Not a complete negative, but on a descent, it's a nice controlled movement. Say, for instance, you're on the bench. It's a nice controlled movement. Now you come down, then up, up, up. You know, that's explosive movement. When you're on a descent, you're going a hair slower than the actual pushing part of the movement. And that explosive movement is what triggers is going to trigger your fast twitch muscles. I made a video in the past about full extension and what it really means, but I'll put a link to it in the description. But so let me reiterate what I was saying in that video, just to make sure that I'm transparent. Full extension doesn't necessarily mean full extension of the joint. It means full extension, full flexion and extension of the actual muscle fiber. So, great example on the bench. You know, sometimes I lock out inadvertently when I'm doing the bench press, but to actually, you know, get that full range of motion just before lockout, just before you lock out your elbows is when you want to begin to change the motion of the weight. So again, good people, don't overcomplicate things. If you don't take anything else from this video, what I'll tell you is to focus on intensity, shout out to Big J, and to focus on consistency. Get these emails and everybody saying, oh man, this is the newest routine that's out, you know, it says it's gonna get you, you know, this big and this size and it's better than doing this. Look, just focus on consistency. Focus on intensity and consistency of a routine. Just focus on a routine. Just stay committed to it. I guarantee you, especially if you're just starting off in the gym, you're going to see results by being consistent and training with intensity. Just doing 8 to 12 reps, you know, using that as your rep range or your sets. I'm not putting these new routines under the bus and things. All I'm saying is that you just need to commit to one. Don't just keep hopping. You know, you're actually putting more focus on these different routines than you are the intensity and consistency of your workout. I don't care what new routine comes out, you just cannot get away from the basics. Consistency, intensity, and one other thing that I have not mentioned in this video yet is nutrition. If you really want size, you know, I can say you can do everything I just mentioned in this video, but if your lean body mass is 150 pounds and you're only getting 30 grams of protein per day, you're not going to get the size that you're looking for. So nutrition, consistency, and intensity. Take all this information to heart because I guarantee it's going to help you to go out there and get swole.